Welcome back to another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show, Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. I'm your host, Damon K. Jones, joined by my brother, A.J. Woodson, and bringing that fresh perspective, Larnaz Kinsey. Every Sunday, we pull back the curtain on the issues shaping our families, our cities, and our future, from health and safety to policy and power. It's because our mission is simple. Put the people first, not the politics. It's going to be Blacktastic. Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic. Black America first. Yeah, Black America first. Fix the house, fix the fam, let the blessings burst. Rep the movement. Get your official Black Westchester merch today. Hoodies, tees, and more at blackwestchestermerch.shop. Wear your voice, make a statement. Damon K. Jones exposes the lies and challenges the gatekeepers in Black politics in his powerful book, Emotional Politics and Logical Failure. Black America needs fewer emotions and more outcomes. Our communities deserve better. On sale now, get the book or audiobook on Amazon. From the streets of Westchester to the heart of hip-hop, discover A.J. Woodson's powerful collection. Black Westchester, the origin story. We got our own thing. Hip-hop from the 914, and Black Westchester celebrate Black women of Westchester. Available now at blackwestchester.com and on Amazon. Get your copies today. Tolerance is for Cowards by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police, it's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the Black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the Black community needs good Black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent Black media strong. Big thank you for the Super Chat support. We appreciate your help in keeping the conversation and independent Black media strong. Black Westchester, it's the news with the Black point of view. It's Blacktastic.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned into Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show with Damon K. Jones. I am A.J. Woodson, and we have the lovely Larnaz Kinsley in the place to be. I think I'll be trying to throw an S in your last name, Kinsey. I'll be trying to throw an extra S, Kinsley. I'll be trying to throw an extra letter in there sometimes. And to gutter to the grave, yeah, sometimes we do occasionally not start exactly at 6 o'clock. So thank you for your patience. I had to get up there and shave. David was running late. Larnaz was like, yo, where everybody at too? So thank you for your patience. We you know, it's 6, it's a suggestion, but you know, we try to be there at 6 though. So it's like, where's everybody at?
Yo, that's crazy. Thank you for your patience and your support. L, you know, we actually was late. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna lie, shit, I was asleep. Larnaz woke my ass up. I was not.
That's okay. We on CP time. It's all right.
Exactly. I ain't gonna lie. I was knocked out.
yeah. Sometimes you start a little after 6, and a lot of times we run a lot over 8. So it's 6 to 8 ish. We don't put the ish in there, 6 to 8 ish. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we here with
Right.
another show. Happy it's Women's History Month. I was sitting there working on my Hazel Dukes would have been 94 on Tuesday. So I was working on my tribute for
Oh
her
man.
this month history. And that's what I was working on when I realized what time it was. Like, oh, I ain't shaved. I had to run and shave, and the Larnez called me too. So I was like, yeah, so every day this month, we have a Women's History Month section dropping spotlights on all the different women all through the month. Make sure you get. And as you heard, Hazel will be on Tuesday. And share, like, leave your comments, and all that good stuff.
Hazel will be on Tuesday.
She is the one for Tuesday. She is the Tuesday.
It's her birthday. It's her birthday, so she's gonna be on Tuesday.
The article's coming out on Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
If we was able to get Hazel Dukes on the show on Tuesday, we'd be doing something. We would really be doing something.
We tapped in.
Yeah, we tapped into a whole other thing. She will be the Tuesday spotlight. She will be on Black Westchester on.
That's why I had to ask, brother. That's why I had to.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I remember when I didn't know who Hazel Dukes was, right? You know, and when Roger Abel, God bless the dead, he was alive too. And Karen Edmondson at the time was the NAACP. Shout out to Karen, was the NAACP president, right? So in Yonkers. So she was trying to bring all the Yonkers presidents together, right? So I'm on an email thread.
I can only imagine.
I'm on an email thread. So Hazel sent some fiery email. Now, I don't know who she was. I'm looking. I'm in the National Black Police Association. Now, Roger Abel, at the time, he's the Northeast Region president, right? And I shot off a fiery brand. Who this woman thinks she is?
Oh my God. Okay.
And young Damon.
Yeah.
Go off button. So I get a call from Roger Abel. Roger Abel said, Negro, you sent Hazel Dukes email? And I'm like, yeah, man. He said, oh, wait a minute, brother. He said, do you know who she is? No. Yo, he let me have it. He said, next time, you tell me and let me talk to her. You do not, you're out of place. That's when I understand the structure.
Yes.
Okay? He said, brother, you're out of place. If you disagree with her, you tell me. And it was my job to talk to her.
So
he said, but then, whoa. But then he said, but everything you said in the right was right in the email.
But even you had your FAFO moment, like you found out who she was real quick.
But I know, Roger Abel was like, it wasn't my position to say that. It was his position. He said, but she sent me the email. He said, but everything you said was correct. But you wasn't supposed to say that. I was supposed to say that. So that was my lesson learned, of the hierarchy of activism. That you don't speak out of pocket, and you respect your elders. But we soon after the Kenneth Chamberlain, we made peace. She finally met me, and I finally met her. and we made peace, and we had that big press conference in front of Slater Center in support of Kenneth Chamberlain.
That's what's up.
And she gave me a few amens when I was speaking, so I know. Once I heard the amens in the back, I knew I was good.
Yo, and for all of y'all who be like, oh man, I'm getting older, I ain't got time to do this work no more. That woman worked to like almost her last day. She was she was about that life. She's just an example. Like we watched some of our elders and I spotlight some of them like Ruby D. Ruby D was out there with Kenneth Chamberlain too. She almost to her last days. And a lot of us be like 30 and 40 talking, oh man, I'm tired. I'm doing all this work. And so, man, it's a lot of people be holding us down and they be rocking to almost their last day. And that's what I learned from Ruby D. I talked about it in the book. Like after her husband died, she could have rested on her laurels. All the work her and her husband did, she had to speak up and say another thing, but she was the first person to speak and from the civil rights era to speak up for Kenneth Chamberlain and meet with Kenneth and tell him to never give up and, you know what I'm saying, and demand justice for the killing of his father. Yo, you know what I'm saying? That was, she was going right after that, a couple of years after that. So she was fighting to her very last day. So no matter how much work I think I've done, I can't complain when these women's out there doing it to their last day. I can't be like, I did it all. I ain't got nothing else to do. And I hear a lot of other people say that. So that was that lesson that I learned from that.
Yeah, well, I mean, look.
I mean, the younger people do need to step up. Don't get me wrong. Young people need to step up. We shouldn't be out there by ourselves doing all this work.
No, but Ron Hampton, look, he's still, I mean, he been retired from law enforcement 50 years, at least 30, 50, 40, he's in his 80s and he still go to conferences and he still go to all these meetings and he still travel the country and he still represent, as much as he can. If Roger Abel was alive, all my elders, they were elder people, man, and they were still in the fight and they could have retired years. Well, most of them retired from law enforcement 20, 30, 40 years. And they're still out here. They're still out here fighting, fighting the good fight, So we have to understand, like, even when you retire, you are still doing the work. As much as I feel like telling people to kiss my black ass and go
say
about
frequently.
Absolutely, you do.
And go about my business. We still have to, because if we don't do it, ain't nobody else will. And these people that are coming, and these young activists that are coming up today, they don't even understand history correctly.
Mm-hmm. That's where I was going.
They don't even understand history correctly. These podcasters, they ain't never even read one of them. I'm like, dude, like, what are you talking about? Like, did you read these books? These are books you should read, because clearly you didn't read them because you're not even having the type of conversation that will let me know that you read the book. And a lot of new activists are making things up. And it's really dangerous for the young people where these new people are making things up. Like the post I made with the young man at the Earn Your Leisure talking about Malcolm was a great businessman. He had papers, he had stores, no, that was Elijah Muhammad. Get your black person straight, brother. When you're talking to people, young people, Malcolm was not a businessman. He was not. He didn't have all that stuff. It was Elijah Muhammad.
And Betty Shabazz talks about that. Like, she had to start all over. Like, they didn't, you know what I'm saying? He was out there doing all that stuff, but there was not a lot left for the family. That Sidney Poitier's wife and them, that organization she belonged to, they got the money together to get her a house here in Mount Vernon and put the kids through school. Like, it was a women's organization that did that because she really did not have that money. And I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying, Damon. I remember maybe a decade ago, we was having a conversation after Napoleon passed. And it was like, yo, we're letting these leaders leave and we don't pick their brain enough and they die with all this knowledge. And it was like, I felt bad that I didn't take enough opportunities to pick that man's brain. And I say that when we talk about the Hazel Dukes and the Ruby Dees and all our leaders that are out there, this is Women's Month. So all the women leaders that are out there, we have to pick their brains. And there's so much we can learn from them. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what the problem is. We don't pick their brains. They die with the knowledge. And then we're starting all over again. So, and then our generation's not sharing it. And these kids are starting with nothing. And that's why sometimes you get this incorrect facts and the lack of not having history, because we are not picking our elders' brains and we are not documenting our histories and passing it down. And we all need to do a better job on that. And that's all I got to say about that.
I wanted to address, do you feel that race relations in this country have been purposely sabotaged in the last 20 years, meaning we are moving backwards instead of forward? Absolutely. I mean, they both sides have used race as a rallying call, like all our problems is because of racism. No, all our problems is not because of just racism. There are issues that racism has caused, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But the level of education and the amount of money we spend on bullshit, racism is not the reason. It's just poor choices and lack of unity at this point. But they use racism as an excuse, right?
Did you know? This is just a random fact. I was looking up something online that white people were still getting reparations for losing their slaves in 2015 was the last payment. That is bananas.
Yeah, but they don't want to. But see, when you don't control media, we don't control no media. Nobody's gonna have those conversations, right? We dropped the ball. Look, the Obama administration. I don't care what black people say. We dropped the ball on that. That was our opportunity to get whatever black folks was supposed to get, and we didn't. And we can't blame racism and the white man on how our community looks. And I always use Mount Vernon. I'm going to just say that as the facto example. There's not a Republican. There's only one white person in all of Mount Vernon government, and the city looks the condition that it's in. You cannot blame the white man. They use that as an excuse. Racism, the white man. And not everything, and now this white liberal nonsense, everything is racism. Everything. Oh, well, that's racism. No, that's not racism.
I also want to add, though, we do have, would you say the profiteers, the people that all through our history, they pay somebody to go out and say something to get our people off the track and put out misinformation or carry the water for somebody else. We do have those too that take that paper and be putting out the wrong messages or trying to down talk what we do or try to downplay our leaders that are actually doing the work, and to attack them. They use our own against us, and we fall for the banana in the tailpipe every time, and we take the paper and we allow ourselves to get used, and that's real talk as well. So, but yes, what's the setup for the show? When do the first guest comes on? What, 6:30 or what's the setup? Yeah,
6:30.
Okay, so we're not there yet.
We'll be on at 6:30. If they not, we keep moving forward.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure we're not, I forgot what the roundup was.
Moving forward. But that's the overall conversation, right? That's why I wrote the book that I wrote. Emotional politics, logical failure. And a prime example was this damn Target boycott. It was a sham, right? How many? I just made a post. How many papers, even Black Enterprise, said that white women benefited more from DEI. So what was we what was we boycotting Target for? Target, more than Walmart, was featuring more Black-owned products.
They had a whole grant opportunity for it.
And so what happened to the Black-owned products when these Negroes wanted to boycott? All the Black-owned products got let go.
And I, because I like to be accurate, I pulled up this information when me and Damon was talking about it. Washington Post and several other publications talked about. So the unintended consequences of this boycott hurt a lot of the Black businesses. And what the people in the boycott were calling for was for you to stop spending your money and target and support the Black products directly. And that didn't happen. Like at least 40 to 50% of the Black businesses that had products in Target lost money. They lost like 40% of their business, and it did not articulate into direct sales. Very few of those were direct to the customer, direct to the product sale through their websites. So a lot of Black businesses, Black products were hurt. And I said it's documented in Washington Post and Black Enterprise and several other. And I was pulling up the articles for Damon yesterday when we were talking about this.
And I'll be talking about that live tomorrow, the whole full spectrum, because we have to have this conversation. We got to stop. So brother said it was actually isn't over. The fast is different. No. Listen, Jamal Bryant jumped on something popular and tried to ride the wave. So let me ask you a question. If the fast is different from the boycott, and Jamal Bryant said the fast is over, but Target made some concessions. Who are the concessions going to when he's talking about certain organizations are going to get money? See, this is the old Al Sharpton shuffle. When these Negroes, they just take over a movement and they get checks, or they get put on the board, or they do this and that. And this is the problem why black people are going in circles, because we're allowing these Negro preachers and these paid leaders. I'm so disappointed in Nina Turner because I thought she knew
That's
better.
what we was talking about. We trying to come up with her name yesterday.
I really thought she was genuine, but I'm very disappointed in that sister. To jump on this, Jamal Bowman jumped on a movement, and
Brian. I told you so, Bowman, yesterday too.
Jamal Bryant.
But I didn't hear about him before his wife wore that crazy dress. So where did he come from? Like, seriously, on social media, I have not seen this man. As soon as his wife wear a dress, now he's connected to Target.
Well, yeah. No, he jumped on the Target. And let me tell you something. And I'm saying this, and him and my pastor are like this. But I got to tell the truth. So he jumped on that, which he should have just minded his business. And now he got checked because social media pushed back. Because really social media don't like him anyway. But at the end of the day, you had a press conference and you said Target was making some concessions. They were giving money to HBCUs. Okay, but for what? To make the HBCUs more dependent on white corporations? Huh? You was giving money to organizations. For what? To make these Negro organizations more dependent on white money? That's the problem now. They're dependent on white money. So they don't work for the independence of black people.
The minute you do something they don't like, they can pull it away.
And I'm being straight up. I'm being honest. Urban League, that report they put out looked like a Democratic flyer, a Democratic Party promotion. Had nothing to do with the effects of our black community and what we needed to do. It was shameful to see that from past reports. And sometimes y'all national NAACP president, I don't know which way he's swinging when he talk on the radio. I don't know what he's talking about. We got to get into the business of black people, not white liberal politics. We have to. NAACP, Urban League, Rainbow Push, all these National Action Network, all of these national black organizations, even the black law enforcement ones, better get into the policies of black people, because we only got a little bit time left, or we're going to be really at the bottom. And it has nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with our failure to demand what we need for our people.
So a while back, I did an article, have the historical black civil rights organizations sold us out. And Damon mentioned Al Sharpton. So Byron Allen and his organization were fighting. There was supposed to be a Comcast Time Warner merger or something. And Byron Allen was fighting for more black channels on those cable networks. And what they did is, so the Time Warner set up an African-American advisory board with the somebody from high member of the Urban League, high member of the NAACP, high member of the National Action Network, was Reverend Richardson from Grace Baptist Church, and several others. And then when you read further, each of them got 6 figures in donations to their organization. And Al Sharpton announced a deal that they were signing a deal for more Black programming. Wording is matters in the situation. Byron Allen was fighting for more Black channels. A Black channel, you have control of what you have on your channel. Programming on somebody else's channel, you are left to the if them people don't feel like what you're programming on their channel, they can drop you from their channel. Yep. So the civil rights organizations got paid off, and Al Sharpton led the march to sign this deal for Black programming. And I wrote about this article, an article that got us blocked from Al Sharpton and the National Action Network on Twitter for like a year and a half. We were blocked after that. We're good now, but we were blocked. And this was like we had Byron Allen on the show. This was about 2015, about 2014, 2015, 2016, sometime around then. And so when Damon, I wanted to give some context to what Damon was talking about. And this is a time, we're talking about everything is, when we talk about everything now, everything is, Trump's name gets mentioned in everything. This was well before there was a President Trump. This is, and these are what is going on with our Black leaders. When I said they then pay our Black leaders to then carry this message, and they get paid to say certain things, and they get paid to carry certain agendas, and it's not always beneficial for our community. And but they got checks. Their organizations get checks. You know what I'm saying? For the very people that we're talking about. So I just want to put some historical content on what Damon was talking about. So, it's funny. So my daughter was honored today at church. She works in the sound ministry, media ministry, and I did the job there before her. She's been there for over a decade, and I know it's a very thankless job. And the preacher called, one of the female associate pastors called her up and literally gave her flowers for what she was doing. So I watched the rest of the sermon, and Damien, you will be very happy the guest preacher spoke for Women's Day was talking about how you going to call off a boycott that you had no business in starting. And the same thing he was talking about, that was in her sermon. She said that from the pulpit. So I just wanted you to know, like, you would have been happy to watch that. And I thought about you as soon as I saw that today. Shaw Temple, Amy Zion Church in Smyrna, Georgia. The church I used to go to, my daughter goes to now. Yeah. That was the message from the Pope. That was part in the message today.
Look, I don't know who started this boycott, but clearly nobody read the reports. And that's my biggest problem, because we don't know we do not know who be behind. Oh, let's start this, let's start that, because it could go on social media, and see and Black people's feelings and our denial of justice for so long. We could just hop off. We just jump off into everything because maybe this might bring us justice. Maybe Black Lives Matter might bring us justice. And that was nothing but some LGBTQ craziness.
Remember Black
right? And we got Blacktivists. That was Russians. We got had with that.
That was Russian bots that
exactly
started this thing called Blacktivists on Twitter, which end up getting more of us following than Black Lives Matter. And they spoke on a rally, and they literally from Russia and with Russian bots planned this big rally that we all participated in the city. And it was Blacktivists. They were two. They was Black. They were working on division between us and the police. So they had Blue Lives Matter. That was the other one that they did for the police. Right. And they had Blacktivists, and they had us going at each other. And it was Russian bots.
So who started the Target boycott? Because if you was a thinking person, you would see that Target had more Black businesses than Walmart. And nobody talked about boycotting Walmart. Not one person. Oh, this whole time, nobody's talking about Walmart. But they're already talking about Target, and Target was promoting more black businesses. Something doesn't add up. And then whether, preachers, nobody reads Black Enterprise, nobody reads Forbes. Well, what the hell are we reading as
Washington
educated?
Post,
Right, at Washington Post, New York Times.
Yeah.
Like, what are we reading as educated black people, as civilized black people? And we never saw the article that white women benefited more from DEI than black women, and then black women talking about we standing up for my rights. No, you're actually getting behind white women having more jobs. Like what? Like this is insane.
So so again, being factual, look at all the white women who voted for Trump, who then lost their job because when they took out the DEI, talking about, well, we expected you to clean it up, we didn't expect you to get rid of our jobs. Look at all and they've been all speaking, all those white women who benefited from DEI, a lot of them lost their jobs and were speaking up. They was like, that's not what we voted for. We're supposed to take our jobs.
Because
the loophole is DEI, you just didn't have to be a white man. That was a loophole.
And the word minority, when I was doing this thing, all this money that goes to minorities, white women and white women businesses are minorities, so they get a lot of the money. Even here in Westchester, the minority owned business, whatever, a lot of white. I have the list because I did a black business. I did a black business kind of directory, for Black History Month one year, and I had them send me the list. And a lot of those businesses were white women-owned businesses because it broke it down. Because I was looking for just black businesses, so they broke it down: black-owned business, women-owned business, white women-owned business.
Well, the resources are there for them, right? Because if I come in to a space that's minority business enterprise, they tell us to get into the portals, but once we get into the portals, they don't guide us like the support that a white woman would have. Right? Because they feel I can benefit more. The optics are better, right? I can benefit more from having this connection. So it's a lot of competition between us instead of saying, I'm here, let me pull you up. You can't do it doesn't matter if we're doing the same thing. You're not going to do it the way I do it, and there's plenty of money to spend. So now they have these budgets that they're supposed to spend all this money and all these set-asides, but they don't really have nobody but the white women to go for it on purpose by accident. And this is just my observation.
So Lanez, again, speaking locally, and Damon knows about this. So there is a white-owned business in Mount Vernon. The person is cool. Thank you, Jonathan Soul, for your super chat. There's a white-owned business that was trying to get a contract with a major national dealer, and they couldn't get it. And they called me, and somebody who's cool with Black Westchester called me and tried to tell me that, his wife is part owner of the business and wanted me to do an article on how they were refusing a minority business. And this is coming to a black publication, how this brand was refusing to do business with a minority business.
You know what I'm saying? Woman?
It's a white man and his wife is on the ownership of the thing, but he came to us as a black people that he's cool with to try to get Black Westchester to shame this product to get their contract by saying they were denying a minority-owned business. And the weight that would carry coming from a black media perspective, you would think that I would, if I had done the article, you'd thought I was fighting for a black-owned business. And that's what the narrative would have looked like. But someone who's a friend tried to play on our friendship and get us to support him getting some national brand in his store, in his business. And that's real talk, and that's something that did happen here in Mount Vernon.
Well, Mount Vernon.
You even know who I'm talking about, so we're not gonna talk.
Mount Vernon has to do better with their businesses too. the mecca of black businesses is New Rochelle. It's not Mount Vernon.
Right.
And
I was just giving her an example of how white people play on that minority thing. And if it came from a black publication, you would have thought I was fighting for black businesses getting this, and it had nothing to do with black. And he wanted this black publication to write this article. But they were refusing a minority business.
But I feel like when it comes to minority business enterprise and all these RFPs and these portals, I think there should be more of a push to get these resources out, right? And I say that because most people who are entrepreneurs are starting a business with already having a career, already having a 9-to-5, right? So now it got to make sense for me to be in this space. And a lot of us, if we don't take the time to learn different things, we don't understand. If you don't take this hour here of your time, you're going to end up paying for it later. Like before I even got into business consulting, I sat down with people and they were like, "Oh, if I would have sat down with you a year ago, your salary was way less than what I lost. Way less than what I lost. I need somebody to organize because I'm not capable to do all these things at once. I can know how to do it. I just don't have the time." And when you start a business from scratch and you have a 9-to-5, you want to make sure your dollar is intentful. Like I spent 80 hours at work last week. I want to make sure my overtime, my ROI come back. Like it needs to come back like overtime. And if it's not, I don't feel like it's worth it. But we don't see that the small pieces, the organization, the filling out the documents properly, the submission of documents is so important. And if you don't have time to pick up them pieces, you need to pay for something, or you need to get in a cohort, because there's a whole bunch of cohorts that the city has, and the information is not out. The information does not get out.
The information doesn't trickle down to our community. So that's one of the reasons that white women benefit. Their powerful husbands know about these things when they get in place. They apply for them quick. The information doesn't get down to all of us who have black businesses. There are no one case in point, they don't come to Black Westchester to let it be known that these things are out there. So they're not reaching out to the black community. They're not putting this information out to the black community. And not just Black Westchester, any other black, outfit that gets news, gets the word out there. They're not spreading this information. So when we find out about stuff like that, we usually find out about it when it's too late, when it's all used up, or when there's just that little piece left, and we all fighting for that little bit of scraps that's left. But when the bulk of it is already used up, and that's when we find out about it. We have to put ourselves in places, and we have to vote for people and put them in places to get that information to our communities, or we will never benefit from any of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So some of that is us not knowing, and the ones who do know not getting the word out to our communities. Because there's some of us who know, and there's always the ones that know and don't. They get theirs. Is that they climbed up the ladder and pulled the ladder up with them. They're not sharing it with the other people out there so they can get up the ladder too.
So I covered the opening of that education center in Mount Vernon, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to write an article about it. I thought it was great. Yeah, no follow-up from anyone in there. And I reached out to 5 to 6 different people about their programs so I could just speak to them directly, because Shawnee did a great job when she was explaining what the center was supposed to be. But when I was reaching out to the people that, these elected officials, and I'm not just talking about Shawnee, these elected officials put to lead these small organizations or small resource hubs, they're not doing it with the same momentum and compassion to actually get the word out. They're like, "Oh, okay, I just got to speak to 5 people this week. No problem."
You know what's great about what you just said? You know what's great about what she just said, Damon? What? His words did not come from Damon K. Jones or AJ Woodson, who are always picking on everybody. This was an independent person who did this on her own at an event that I didn't even know that she went to, that covered this and did the follow-up and is telling you. This is like, me and Damon say these things, and we are picking on certain people. We are putting everybody down. We're being, we're preaching doom and gloom and everything. I think I knew about the event. I was not at the event. I did not cover the event. And you did on your own, and I didn't even know about it. And what you just said is the kind of thing that I've been saying.
Shawnee invited me, and Shawnee office was on point. They gave me the pictures. They gave me the names, right? I was just missing a few more pieces that I needed to speak to the director of the program, which I got their information at the event. So,
and they didn't reach back, and you reached out to them and they didn't get back to you?
4 different people. No. And then when I finally got to, oh, you don't need to get the information from me. You got to talk to this person. So you made me wait a week and a half, and I'm trying to spread the great things that you're doing in your space to promote what y'all doing. Okay, say no more, no problem. And I had to I reached out to Shawnee, like, let me send you this message, because I love when you're doing something good in the community. I want to share that information. I know a lot of people need that information, right? And that was the first time I met her. I happened to meet her in a beauty salon, and she invited me to the event.
Well, you actually told me when you met her.
Right. So make it make sense. Sometimes, these elected officials are, they have good intentions, but the people that they place in the space to make sure the job gets done when they have to address some other important issues, it doesn't have the same impact. So
you have just explained the 12 years that I have been doing this, why a lot of articles have not ran in Black Westchester, and they say why we don't cover these things. The follow-up, the lack of getting back to us when we go for information, all of the things you said, I've been dealing with that for 12 years as the editor-in-chief of Black Westchester, and I've been following through, and I call and I email, and like you said, you give me your information at the event, and I email you, and then I call you, and if I have your cell number, I text you, and then I don't get the information I need to put a full story out, to get the full information out. And then they'd be like, well, Black Westchester don't put the positive stuff out. They don't put the stuff that can help people. We can't do it if you don't give us the information. And that's a lack of the people who are in charge, the lack of those people that you're talking about. It is their job to make sure we have all the information we need so we can get the information out to our people. We have the paper, we have the website, we have the show. Damon has other shows that he does. I speak at different things too. Lanez is all over the place. She's always outside. And there's no excuse for you to be saying stuff that I've been saying since 2014 and having the same frustration about the same type of things that I've been saying since 2014. This is what we've had these conversations on the radio when we had this studio in Yonkers. We were having these same conversations in 2014, 2015, 2016. And it's a shame that you are now with us and you're having these same conversations in 2026. That says something. That says a lot. And that's not one elected official. That's the whole range of elected officials and all the leaders and directors and all of that have been in power during that time. So we still have the same problem, different faces, same problem. Different, and that's a shame. But I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you explained all of that the way you did, because you did it differently than I did. And at this point I'm frustrated. So anything that come out my mouth about it is going to sound a little different. So so it's good that with your fresh perspective on the situation, you are addressing this now. And I challenge our leaders to do better.
Look, black people don't understand the importance of independent media, and this is why we have none at this point, as far as the global scale. Tyler Perry sold. They probably gave Tyler Perry an offer that he couldn't refuse, and plus he had no choice but to sell his share of BET Plus, because if he didn't, his shows wouldn't appear on none of the platforms or that Paramount would own. And and I dare anybody to look up what Paramount owns now. And once the Warner Brother deal goes through, they're going to own all of Warner Brothers stuff, and what Byron Allen was
TV, movie, streaming, applications, radio stations, all of that. This is all and
Oracle.
print publications too.
And Oracle. Oracle is one of the biggest companies that the father actually owns, and that collects data. That collects data. So we have been we've been outflanked for a group of people, Black Americans, that's been estimated $2.6 trillion this year in stuff. Right? We have no power. We have no businesses that we literally spend our money on, that are institutions. Warner Brothers is an institution. When I talk about that, Paramount is an institution. BET was an institution. And that's no longer. And we have no substitute. See, that was the whole thing about the Target boycott. We did not have a distribution system for Black businesses to distribute their products all throughout the country. And I got an idea for all you Black pastors. Instead of building low-income housing, why don't you build a store? Why don't you build a store? Call it whatever you want. And allow each Black church have a store. Depending on the size of the church, it could be a big store or it could be a little store. But all get together and start distributing Black products. Instead of boycotting. See, you boycotted Target, but you didn't give the Black products an alternative. And then you go, well, go to the website. Like, they don't understand the reason why Target and these Walmart and these companies, they use them so they don't have to have a warehouse. So they don't have
Amazon.
Right. So you don't have to have a warehouse. You don't have to pay for employees. You don't have to have a website. Right? You could just say, go to Target. My product is in Target. So why don't y'all come together, Black pastors, all of y'all, I don't care what denomination you are, and say, yo, we're going to put together a network so Black businesses can put their products in our little church store.
Mm-hmm. Some of these Black churches back before, and in certain areas, instead of doing a citywide affordable housing, they would have the block area be the church. They'd have a supermarket. They would have other businesses in there, and it'd be like a complex. You know what I'm saying? And you can spend all your money there. You know what I'm saying? And that would actually help the community more than another affordable housing unit that your contracting company that's attached to your church gets the rights to build. And that's not a lot of affordable housing. A lot of us can't afford. So that we'll start there. So you have to do more for your community. And yes, I agree. The thing about, I was going to say this before, and I want to interrupt Damon. So I remember back in the days when I was really heavy in hip hop, Reagan was the president, and Nancy Reagan had this thing, because the crack era, just say no. And my whole thing about the just say no thing is you can't continue to tell kids to just say no and don't tell them what to say yes to.
Right.
Then Calvin Butts had the thing where he crushed the CDs, all the Snoop CDs and all of that. And what I felt with that, and I was against that whole thing. So yeah, some of this music is detrimental to our community. But instead of that, at the same time, he wasn't telling people the power of Public Enemy. The songs like You Must Learn by KRS, songs that teach and uplift our community. You were just saying, don't buy this Snoop stuff. Don't buy NWA. Again, just say no. Boycott Target There's another just say no without giving an alternative of how spending your money with and telling people spend money with black businesses, but you don't provide a list of black businesses. So where do I spend my money? I know where Target is. Hell, from where I live, Target is walking distance from my house. Literally down the street and across the street. You understand what I'm saying? And there was a Walmart in White Plains. It's no longer there no more. I think the closest one is in Connecticut or something.
That's why I stopped. That's why I stopped shopping up there at that Target, because they done shut down the little Walmart because it wasn't even a super Walmart. It felt like Kmart.
Right. But my point is, though, we all know where those things are. A lot of us, the reason I'm dealing with Amazon with the books, again, I don't have to have boxes and boxes and boxes of storage of books. You can literally go to Amazon and order the book. I do have copies if you want to get it directly from me, but I don't have to keep hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books stored here to sell books. You understand? So when we attack these big things, we have to give people alternatives on what else to do, or we have to put things in some kind of infrastructure together where these black businesses can sell through. You understand what I'm saying? Where you make it easier to sell through. Because I'm going to be honest, if you got a product, you can go to Walmart or Target or Amazon or something, and a lot of times now you can just order it online and get it sent straight to your house.
What? Man, let me
wait. If you want to get a product, but now I gotta look for the black business that sells it, and if they don't have a place for me to buy it, I gotta go find them and some kind of way to do that. And everybody's busy in day-to-day life. People don't have time to do that.
Let me tell you, man.
COVID changed the game with the ordering online stuff. They just
thanks to AOC and her dumbass.
I don't know where you're going.
Well, hey, just follow the yellow book road, my brother. Thanks to AOC and her. I don't know how we elect these people. Great music. I really don't. She was the voice against Amazon opening up the factory, I think in Queens and that area of Queens. She was the loudest voice.
That'd have been such a great thing for that.
Oh, let me finish. Let me finish, man. Let me finish the story first. They came up here where I'm at on the low because they didn't want to make, and now I get my things the same day. Huh? You're absolutely right. I get what I order the same day. So see, and now the white folks up here got jobs. You understand? They got jobs. And you're talking about 80,000. I remember because I thought it was really stupid. So it was 160, maybe 200 employees starting at 80,000 up. See, this is what we do. We have to watch these elected officials that want us to be poor. They want us to be poor. Who turns down jobs that start at $80,000? When that area and all that, when young black people need, and then they want to talk about, well, we want to raise minimum wage to $30. No, if you raise minimum wage to $30, the average raise will be zero because nobody will have a job. Especially young black youth trying to get just a little job for the summer. Ain't nobody hiring them at no $30 an hour.
Yep. Speaking personally, your wife has a cupcake shop.
She's not going to hire.
She could not afford to pay employees $30 an hour and function a business. We have a black-owned business. We have a black-owned business, and hell, we ain't afford to pay anybody much as $30 an hour. There would be no Black Westchester.
And let me tell you something. She'd be in there sweating all day by herself before she pays somebody $30 an hour to come up in there. Straight music. Because can't nobody afford it. And I had this conversation with Tasha Young. And I said, Tasha, how are you coaching people that have businesses and you're talking about $30 an hour? any starting off business person would be like, yo, I can't afford that.
So somebody said what Amazon. So Amazon, before they opened up upstate and they opened somewhere else, they were opening they were looking for two big locations. One was in the DMV area, I think Virginia, and the other one that was the major consideration was Queens. And the elected officials messed that one up. And let me just tell you why that was a problem. So they could have got a lot of things because Amazon really wanted that area. The number, the subway that goes to that area is the 7, one of the most rundown subways. They could have got in the deal them to fixing the infrastructure because a lot of the employees would have had to take that to get to them. And some, you know what I'm saying? Fix the infrastructure of that subway. You would have got a brand new, infrastructure on the subway or for that line or for over there, and you would have had that business, and it would have built up that area as far as the jobs for that area. And they wanted, I don't know what it was. I forgot what it was. There was a big problem, and they didn't feel like dealing with all the problems. So they went and picked 2 other locations, and one of them is up by Damon, up in the middle.
They did it on the low.
Yeah, but there was somewhere else they went to. They went Orange County and another place. They would have went to Queens. You know what I'm saying? They did
it on the low, bro. It wasn't even like you didn't even know. Next thing I knew, I was driving by this building. I was like, what is going on here? All this construction. Oh, look, this is interesting. What are they building here?
You didn't know, but it was announced before that they were going there beforehand.
I didn't know
when they canceled Queens. I knew they were going. There was 2 places they were going. Orange County was one of them, and there was another place. So they opened up 2 different ones.
And I think they're building another one up here.
Because they success,
right? I think because look, it's perfect because it's right now. We got Andrew Air Force Base. We got a airport right here. So this is just as good as being in the city, and people are going to benefit, and people are going to benefit up here. Like this is. Let me tell you something. We have to really. Watch our elected officials, man. In Westchester County, if you have a truck, a food truck, you have to get the Westchester County health permit, right? Then you have to go into each city and get a permit from each city, right? Orange County, you just gotta get one. The lady. We was filling it out. So my wife said, "Oh well, okay, I get this one, and then I gotta go to Middletown and go to this." The lady, the clerk said, "Girl, this ain't Westchester County." Wow. She said, "When you get that one," that's what she said. "This is not Westchester County. When you get that, you could go anywhere as long as you're not on private property. Enjoy your business." So
Mr. Jones, so Andrews Air Force Base is in Fort Prince George. It's Stewart. I think it's Stewart.
Okay.
I just wanted to because somebody be like, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Andrews. All right,
I had to look. I said that ain't in New York. I had to Google that.
I was looking at me. I was like, maybe I messed up. I don't know. But but let me tell you, man, listen. Look. New York is gonna be. Listen, if they pass this property tax and the state tax.
West Point is the one that's in Orange County. Okay.
If you but the Air Force Base.
Yes, it's up there too though somewhere.
But if we pass this estate tax and we pass all this, New York is done. Ain't nobody gonna want to live in New York.
So what they're doing.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be.
They're pushing people. They're pricing people out of the city, and
they're taxing people out.
Taxing people out of the city, and they're going to start moving. Some will move to Westchester, but they're going to move further up. They're going to move up where Damon is.
No.
They already started. It used to take me, I think 15 minutes to get to work. Now it takes me 28 minutes to get to work. That's a big gap.
No. But if they pass, and I'm doing a show on Wednesday about this estate tax. if the state passes this, right? Now they could just do a home rule for New York City. If New York City passes it, everybody's moving. If they pass it for the state, if they pass it, it's gonna that estate tax, moving it from 7 million down to 750,000 is gonna destroy generational wealth for the Black community, because real estate is all we have. And right now in New York, 750,000 is nothing for a house.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So it's 750 that's an average person's house, 750,000. Right? 750,000. You go to Mount Vernon, 750,000. I saw homes in Mount Vernon that was listed for $1 million. I was shocked. So what happens is, when that estate tax, families are not going to be able to afford, because you have to pay that tax in cash. See, people don't understand what they're doing to the middle class in New York. So you can't, how you pass generational wealth? Right? Let's say AJ, your mother bought a house when you was 5. The house cost $100,000.
72.
72. Right.
Long Island.
Right.
Long Island. I think this was 72,000 and 73.
Right. Now the house is worth $800,000. Right? She dies. You have to pay that estate tax in cash. In cash. Now, even if you sell your house, you still got to take some of that money and still pay the estate tax. Doesn't go away if you sell the house. Right?
That comes off the top.
Exactly. So what do people do? They're gonna sell their home. Right. So it's destroying generational wealth. It's gonna be destroying Black families that work all these years to keep their homes.
Hello.
What are we doing? AJ, we can hear you. What are we doing? This is insane. Well, if they pass, if they pass it for the state, it doesn't matter where you move. Soon, for an average person to afford a house, they're gonna be living on the border of Canada.
So here's my man said, I live in Syracuse and we're getting people from New York's downstate up here. Syracuse city and suburban Black population is still growing.
Yeah.
This person said, it was a bunch of comments. This person said $30 minimum wage. No one would want to own a business because they would not be able to turn a profit. Common sense.
Right.
Next comment was, man, Danny had tricks up his sleeve. Nothing is free.
Exactly.
And another comment, I know the Albany area is getting more people moving up there too. Binghamton as well. Tell Karen Bass and Byron Jackson. I don't know what that is. Okay, I'm not going to leave that alone.
Karen Bass is in Richmond Club.
Okay. I sold a piece of property last week and they charged 23% capital gains tax. And the last one that we missed, if you're a Democrat, don't ask me what are we doing. Shout out to Marvin, Joshua, and everybody who left comments. I wanted to make sure we read everybody, and Bianca, Easton, everybody who left comments from the time we were talking. I wanted to make sure your comments got
my next door neighbor. My next door neighbor was retired correctional officer from Rikers Island. She just sold her house, and she moved into Atlanta.
Let me interrupt real quick. Sorry to interrupt you. Mm-hmm. So our guest, Jacqueline Gass, she was traveling and she didn't get back in time and she has to reschedule. She just called to apologize. So she's and she was supposed to be on at 7. So she just we're talking to 7:30 till our guest comes. So I just wanted to put that for the people that were waiting. There are people waiting for her, expecting to see her, was wondering why she wasn't there. So she has to reschedule. She'll call me tomorrow to reschedule. So That I want to get that out. Direct marketing and share profits on the down line. This is the best way to create more entrepreneurs and put money in people's pockets legally. Atlanta, what is it? Atlanta is getting expensive too. So it's funny about Atlanta because I lived down there for a while in the early 2000s. At the time, and this is what a lot of people in Atlanta complain about. At the time, it was way cheaper to buy property there. So when the developers realized that they were getting all this traffic from New York and California, they raised the prices, which was really expensive for Atlanta people, but was still cheaper than New York and California. So New York and California was happy to come down there, Chicago, because they were paying cheaper, but you started pricing out Atlanta people. That's what's been going on in Atlanta in the last 2 decades. And
when I went to Atlanta, my friend was telling me everything was 20 minutes away, and we was in that car for like 45 minutes everywhere we went.
So that's
I was like, I can't take this.
So
Put me on a train.
The second thing is when the architects of the city built the city, they didn't build it for the type of expansion that Atlanta has gotten. So it's just like, they built it for what they predicted. Atlanta had a big burst again from New York and California and Chicago, other states that wanted to pay less. So, they all went down there, and then Atlanta became like the Black Hollywood, and what I'm saying, like the gold rush, Black people was making money in Atlanta, so it was like the gold rush for us. Everybody started shooting down to Atlanta, what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people, then you had General Motors closed, and the people that took the buyouts, that took the transfers, like my dad and Bob's dad, who worked together, actually. We didn't find this out. We didn't know this back in the days. We just found that out. They both went down they moved down to the Doraville, Georgia plant or the Albany, Georgia plant, and you're taking your New York salary. And like my old girlfriend who worked at AT&T, they closed the Long Island AT&T, and they were all moved if they wanted to Atlanta, and they took their Atlanta salary, their New York salary down to Atlanta. So you had all of those people like General Motors and AT&T sending more people down there, and then it just blew up. So they did not predict this kind of expansion, and it was not built for the expansion it got. And that's why. So, and what you said is true. From the city, where I lived in Atlanta, I was 20 minutes from the city. Where my partner B Love lived outside of Metro Atlanta, he was 20 minutes from the city. But for him to get to me was an hour and 10 minutes. But we're both 20 because it's a big circle. It's a big circle around Atlanta, and everything is 20 minutes away.
Jack Coon is an idiot.
Is that Faith Evans? Jack Coon be trying to play. He be trying to play matchmaker. He be pushing up on all the women that be on the show. He be like, yo, Faith Evans. That's funny though.
Well, because that's politics.
Why does that
Marvin,
start out small and very good and with integrity and truth? When it grows, it gets corrupt.
That's politics. We have to understand. We have to understand the nation.
There go Jack again. No, Jack. She's not single. Jack.
Not single.
No. And that's politics. Unfortunately, that's where we at. But I tell you one thing. People are leaving. That's how they're voting. They're voting by packing up, and they're leaving. And I don't understand why our politicians in New York State don't see it. Like I really don't. Like I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Why they don't see that people are leaving because of their policies. The main reason why we have all this high electric bills is because they closed Indian Point, and they did not have a replacement. So the electricity that we have has to be imported. Ain't that something? We're paying to import, and they didn't build. And it's not like, and I'm doing an article now. There's one city that's building a nuclear plant through Microsoft. Microsoft is actually building the plant. And the technology from, when they first built nuclear plants are not the same as it is today. But you're going to have those systems because of AI. right? And the fact that many homes, like my home, I have a smart. Everything's hooked up to every home. Everything is hooked up to Wi-Fi. I don't care what you say. Everything's hooked up to Wi-Fi. Now, if you buy new appliances, that a lot of them come Wi-Fi. You hook them up to Wi-Fi. You can control your washer and dryer through Wi-Fi. Your stove through Wi-Fi. It's amazing. And what is that? That means
I'd be on the phone with Dave and he'd be like, Alexa, turn the lights off downstairs. Alexa, do this. Alexa, he'd be giving instructions to the house while he's on the phone with me.
Eventually, we're going to be in a space where people are going to need to be AI bilingual, right? I wrote, matter of fact, I sent AJ an article talking about that, how the future is. We're going to have to be bilingual in AI, not only Spanish, not only French and Creole, but AI, in order for us to get further, to move, if we're not working for somebody else, right? And now a lot of people's lens are shifting. A lot of people don't want to be in that survival mode, just working all these hours for somebody else's business. A lot of people are starting to wake up and stick their feet in the ground. So you're gonna have to be bilingual in AI.
And we had Eric Kahn come on here twice, telling you, AI Eric, he came on there breaking down. It's about time to bring him back again on the show.
Yeah.
Talking about, he's trying to give you all the tools of like what it is, and he offers a lot of services and stuff. But he's come on here at least twice to break down, our relationship to AI and what it's going to be and how we need to be involved.
And the thing about it is, if we don't use, and this is a big thing, it's not like the calculator era, right? Where they gave you this and they're like, oh, don't use it because you slow. You can't count with your fingers. You can't count in your head, right? This is different. If we don't make our imprint in AI, the imprint is going to be made by somebody else that does not connect to us culturally. And if you believe that we are behind now, it's going to be more of a gap. That's all I have to say.
So I just want to
add real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
While everything is not because of racism, we do live in a racist society. And if we're not involved in the creation of AI, AI is going to take on the same racism that we have in society. And it's not going to be because we're not involved in the prompting of it, in the early stages of it, in the learning stages of it. And that's what's going to happen. And what we're seeing now, the things we're complaining about now, is going to be, the divide is going to be instrumentally larger, and the gap. And it's going to be those who know, and it will continue to keep us being consumers as opposed to producers. You know what I'm saying? This culture, this economy depends on us as consumers to feed this. When they gave those stimulus checks, that wasn't looking out for us. They needed us to spend money. You understand what I'm saying? That's for the economy. They needed us to spend money.
But AI is not only going to stumble that, right? Because the big scare is that, oh, we don't know where you're getting this information from, right? But with our kids, the big scare is you cap your intelligence, right? You don't have the ability to have a lived experience. You don't know what it feels like to go into the library and read 25 books and for the answer to be in the second book in the second paragraph that you already read last week. Like, that is a lived experience. When you see people make movies and documentaries, they're sharing their lens of their lived experience. That is what the human journey is, for you to have a whole bunch of experiences that you can share, right? You can expand, you can apply your intellect to what you see. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But if we have an age where, oh, let me just Google that, and you get that answer and that's it, and I don't feel like I have to verify because I believe that Google is the right answer. No, Google is one answer. And I need you to understand that you need to have several different answers for you to understand what this means to you.
Bigger than that, in addition to that, we don't. So the fact of us, Faith Evans, fine and smart. so in addition to that, we're not documenting our stories, and our guest is coming on. When we don't document our stories, AI grabs from all the information that's out there. And if we're not documenting our stories and we're not telling our history and we're not doing all that, that's not part of the equation that AI is grabbing.
No, not just AI, but Google. See, if we don't document, even if
Google is AI. And we don't realize we just think Google is. We've been dealing with AI for a long time with Google. Google has an AI element.
Well, that's true. But I wanted to, before we bring down, I wanted to address something Jack said, right? He says New York still Wall Street. That's not going to last long neither, brother, because there's something that is coming. It's called the Texas Wall Street in Dallas. And the fact that Goldman Sachs is down there now. They're building JP Morgan is down there now. And they're in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And the mayor of Dallas already stated that they are building the Texas Wall Street. So sooner or later, if the prices rise here, everybody's going to go there. It's just, listen, business is about money. It's mathematics. It ain't about feelings. Oh, they're going to stay in New York because New York. No. They're going to go where it's cheaper. They're going to go where it's cheaper. So for people that say it won't happen, it's going to happen.
Capitalism is about making as much money as you can and keeping as much of it as you can.
Exactly. It says Chicago also has stock exchange.
Yes.
Yeah, but Chicago falling apart. They got a foolish mayor and he don't know what he's doing. Look, ain't no stock exchange coming to Chicago. They can't even keep the Chicago Bears. They're leaving. That foolish ass mayor out there. They done packed up and they're packing up and leaving. So it's a wrap. All right. Listen. Jack, all I'm going to say, when the two major players build what they're building down there, just Google it, bro. And you see what they're building down there, you know what's coming.
New
York is not the T that it used to be. I'm sorry.
I heard that, but I didn't pay attention. The Chicago Bears are actively pursuing a move out of Soldier Field with Indiana lawmakers in February 2026 passing legislation to facilitate a new stadium in Hammond, Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely. Without further ado, we gonna bring in our brother Dow Davis. What's happening, my brother? What's happening, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's good?
How you feeling?
I put the heartbeat in there. There you go. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be on again. This is where I need to give the most important reports.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna give you guys a scoop. This hasn't been reported anywhere related to the Marfields brutality case in Peekskill, but the latest is that Mike Sussman came on board. He took the case.
Oh, shout out to Mike Sussman.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Mars next court appearance is March 26th, Peekskill City Court, 2 Nelson Avenue, Peekskill, New York. The charges against him, you guys may remember, were brought 10 days after the Mars arrest, after the DA, Susan Case, found out there was a video of what these cops did to him. And so to protect the police officers, she brought the flimsiest of charges imaginable, such as 7th degree possession of a controlled substance, which I had to about Google. I had to Google that.
7th degree? I've never heard of
it.
What was a 7th degree?
Where did rolling papers? Might be rolling papers, but anyway.
Wait, what was it called? 7th degree what?
Possession of a controlled substance, 7th degree. So it could be anything. However, the charges are as flimsy as possible. the two police officers, the lead cops, were suspended. The first one was suspended with pay. Now the two lead officers are both suspended without pay, and they're brought up on departmental charges. One of the cops, Daniel Regg, set up a GoFundMe because he wants to sue because he's certain he's getting fired, and he wants the city to let him resign, but it feels like they're trying to fire him, which they should have arrested him. But if they're going to fire him, let's get it on. So that's the state of the case right there. And so with social media being what it is, Daniel Regg's GoFundMe is getting, it's showing up all over the place. And, a lot of people are saying, well, the district attorney cleared him and yada dee, and they need to let it go and stop giving in to the race car and all this bullshit. So I want to let you and your audience know, because they keep saying the district attorney cleared them. Well, not exactly. She didn't criminally charge them because she was a coward. Okay. Because she's a coward. But she was critical of the fact that they never tried to de-escalate. She was critical that they didn't handle this as what it was, a person with a mental health crisis who these cops know intimately, and still did what they did. So they didn't clear him.
They just didn't bring charges. They just didn't bring charges.
Correct.
The grand jury decided that because of the information brought to the grand jury decided not to bring charges.
She didn't even go that far. She didn't even take it that far. She
didn't go to a grand jury?
Oh. Yeah, she didn't. No, she did a review, and then she found no wrong. She didn't charge them, but she did find wrongdoing, quote unquote. But so anyway, so now the white supporters are saying, well, this is wrong. They shouldn't fire him. He did his job, yada yada yada. The district attorney cleared him. Well, let me share this about this district attorney. In January, I wrote a 2-page letter to the Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct. This commission is fairly new. It came out of the Innocence Project movement, or people connected to that. Mm-hmm. It has subpoena power. I'm told the executive director, Susan Friedman, is the real deal. She came out of the movement. A lot of people don't know this commission exists. So I wrote a 2-page letter asking them to investigate the actions of the district attorney for bringing what I call retaliatorial charges against the victim, Damar Fields, and some other things in there. I'll send you guys a copy of the letter. About 3 weeks ago, I got a letter from the commission with a case number. Susan case actions in Peekskill are now under review by the states. Boom. So let them keep bragging that he was never brought, that these cops were never charged. Her actions are being brought into question by the states.
I want to stop right real quick. So I had to look this up, and I really would like to give information out. So criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree is a Class A misdemeanor in New York State, defined as knowing and unlawfully possession of any controlled substance. It is the lowest level of drug possession crime in New York State, and also often involves small amounts of drugs intended for personal use. Guilty when a person is knowingly and unlawfully possessing a controlled substance, i.e. cocaine, heroin, meth, and unauthorized prescription pills. There is no minimum weight requirement. Possession of even a trace amount or residue can trigger this charge.
But that's it.
That's crazy. Wait, that's crazy.
right. And
that's
this
how
is what
he
did.
So what was he supposed to have some weed on him?
Because he's going to be back in court and it has to be addressed. I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
No, I don't expect this charge.
So the examples they used was cocaine, heroin, meth, and unauthorized prescription pills.
Yeah, I don't think he was accused. Well, first of all, when you charge somebody with possession, you got to have a lab report saying what it is. That's all I'm going to say about that. You got to have a lab report saying what it is.
So jail time is up to 1 year in local jail, 364 days, $1,000 fine, and up to 3 years probation, a criminal record, permanent criminal record, driver's license suspension, potential issues with immigration or mandatory DNA samples registration. It goes on and on and on. This is crazy. I never heard of this. So I was like,
yeah, exactly.
So just residue can trigger this charge. Just
yes,
or what they call a trace amount, which is not enough usually for you to get arrested for. But this,
correct.
With this, you can.
Yeah, I mean, if you find something in the park where you arrested him and it's an empty vial and you want to say it's his, so I had to look that up too because I never heard of it. And keep in mind, these charges came about 10 days after DeMar was arrested. The only thing he was charged with the night they beat the crap out of him was obstruction of governmental administration, nothing else. So what was he obstructing? Later on, they put resisting and the other stuff.
So the bottom line with this, and I want to make this clear, even if he was guilty of something really crazy, the ass whipping that he got was not, that's judge, jury, and executioner right there. They're supposed to arrest him. But for something this little, like the ass whooping he got wouldn't have been justified for a bigger thing. For something this little, like there should be something against them cops for taking that extreme. That is definitely an extreme abuse of power for something so small that might have got you a disappearance ticket or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't have even been bail. You might have got a disappearance ticket for this. You know what I'm saying?
You're right on target because he wasn't taken into custody. They beat him and dropped him off at the hospital.
Really?
He wasn't arrested.
Really?
He wasn't. He was given he was given an appearance ticket, which I saw, and the only thing on the ticket was obstruction. No other charges. Obstruction. That was it. Beat the crap out of him, dropped him off at the hospital.
Well, obstructions is that that broad whatever on every ass whipping. Like that's the broad one that.
Right. But there's supposed to be another charge.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was he interfering? What was he resisting? They put resisting arrest. And then the big lie was that, and this is another thing that, the racists are running. Well, how would you feel if he was out there? He was out there flashing all these children and he was naked in front of these kids. No, that's not what happened. That's not what he was charged with. But they're still running around with that lie. You can look at the police video and there's nobody out there. This brother is homeless. He's unhoused.
I asked you that last time you was on because there was no, because I heard the children narrative and all of that, and I was like, I only saw the angle from the video. I had to ask you, were there kids out there? Were there like a?
There's nobody out there. I posted photos, stills from the police body camera, 360 degrees. There's nobody out there. You could see the playground all the way on the other side of the park. So this is just another lie, to as you say, to justify the ass whooping, which is still vigilantism. But they had to cook up stuff against him. And again, very flimsy charges. And by the way, this dude, he could have died because they tased him altogether about 5 times.
I read the report on that. With how many times it could have triggered some kind of heart
cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest or something. Yeah, from 2 or 3, and he got 5.
5.
Yeah,
5.
And that's a healthy person. He might have not even been healthy. Like you know what I'm saying? That's a healthy person can get cardiac arrest from being tased that many times.
Yeah, and then to mount him and just rain.
And at some point, the whole thing where they put the pressure on his chest.
Yes, they all had knees on him.
All those situations, Eric Garner, all that, that's what it was, the pressure on the chest where you can't breathe.
Right. Yeah. And then panic sets in, and then they call you resisting. Just lie after lie. This behavior is disgraceful. And again, Susan could case what she did was cowardly. It was disgraceful. And I'm happy that the state is looking at her actions.
So what are the elected officials, and several of them have been on this show and come on here when they want to run, the former mayor, the current mayor, some of the council members, the county legislator has been on here before. What are any of the elected officials saying about this?
Absolutely nothing. the only let me see, the county legislator, Colin Smith, I didn't
who's
see
been on the
his
show at
comments.
least 2 or 3 times, yes.
Yeah, I didn't see what he said about this case, but Colin and I, we have a good relationship.
Yeah,
I saw him recently. He said, hey, whatever you need, let me know. But I didn't see his comments. The mayor was supporting vigilantism. I saw her say that, well, it's disturbing, but we have to see what happens.
I did see that. It's disturbing. I did see that. It's disturbing,
right.
But yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So therefore, if he did something really bad, the ass whooping's justified. And she hasn't said a word since. And I've called them out on it. This man was stomped out in your front yard, and you haven't said nothing. Some of our members went to the Peekskill City Council meeting Monday and asked the mayor and council for a vote of confidence for the chief, who had the guts to suspend these guys without pay and have them face termination. They was like, well, there might be lawsuits, so we can't say anything. A vote of confidence has nothing to do with a lawsuit. So they're a bunch of cowards also.
So that was the next question. No word from the council, and you just answered that question. So.
Nobody. No, let me say, Ramon Fernandez, who's not on the council anymore.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, he ran for mayor. He lost. He's off the council. Right. He did make a statement in support of justice for DeMar. Dwight Douglas, white man, not on the council anymore. He wrote an open letter denouncing the violence against him. But our black mayor,
not even the former mayor.
None of them. No black elected officials at all.
That I was just where I was.
Well, Colin Smith, but other than the county legislature, none of them. I went ballistic on the Peekskill NAACP last month, and when I say ballistic, I was bombing on them. They've tried to go behind my back and take DeMar to meet directly with the chief of police so he can tell his side of the story. After I kept telling them, the only person he's telling his story to is to his attorney. I don't know what that was about.
Wow.
So the energy, we're fighting for justice. We're going to the courts. We're going to the council meetings. We're giving reports to the community. But honest to God, most of my energy is fighting these incompetent sycophants who are showing up and can I speak at your rally? And they forget last year I asked them to help me save public housing and they all told me no. They forget that I got like 14 other complaints of police brutality in Peekskill. They wouldn't lift a finger. But now there's a case in the news. All they want to do is speak and sell memberships and get grant money, but they don't want to do any of the work.
So what does justice look like to you and the family?
First of all, the criminal charges need to be dropped. The lead officer definitely should be fired. I don't know if it's too late. I haven't explored it yet with this Department of Justice. I don't know if it's even worth it, but they could be brought up on federal civil rights charges. I've seen that happen before where the locals don't prosecute cops, but then the feds come in and charge and prosecute. We're going to look into that. They should have been criminally charged. Other cops have said to me that lead cop should have been arrested. So justice looks like charges thrown out, 2 lead police officers fired, and now we're going into federal court for a multi-million-dollar lawsuit.
And I just want, because there's going to be people who are just seeing you for the first time, and I just want them to know. So Damon and I both know Darryl. He has been a leading voice in the Black community With shows both on WRA. What was it?
WVOX.
WX, and what's the other one that Bob Marone was on before that? WFAS or?
I was on WLNA and WBNR.
Okay, right. So you've been doing this for a minute, like just
Yeah.
because people don't know the name. We met in the very early days of Black Westchester, so we've been doing this 12 years. You've been doing this, and you were already that voice on radio before that, on local radio. Unfortunately, we don't have none of those local stations no more, but
Right.
Which I guess
we got our own stuff now.
I was going to say, which makes the importance of what we do now, because there's no VOX was good. It gave you voices from all sides, like it was local, and the other station that Bob Marone was on, that I was on before, that was local stations, and they went all sports. So there's a need for local voices and local shows like this, and that's the only way we find out this information.
Correct.
Because you're not going to see this on News 12. You're not going to see this on
major
stuff. And until something big happens, unless the cops actually get sentenced or charged or something, you're not going to read about this in the major newspapers or the news outlets or nothing. And we have to keep the local voices out there. That's one of the things that moved me and Damon to continue doing this. Because I'm gonna tell you, there's been a time I told Damon a few times, I don't know how long we're gonna do this. I was trying to get us to the 10-year anniversary. We're getting at the 12 now. So we're gonna try to keep going. But
you got to keep going. What else?
And I want to encourage other people in their cities, because we do Westchester.
Right.
We need these voices. We need these voices in all the cities. There need to be somebody in New Rochelle doing this, and somebody doing this in Yonkers, and someone doing this in Peekskill. We need more local voices like this, and we have to lift that up.
Absolutely. I mean, the platform you guys have is extremely important. If not you guys, somebody's got to hold that space. I got a call from Politico.
Oh,
it wasn't good. So the Democrats are pissed off at me because I outed them the little secret trip to Israel.
I did that story.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I did that story.
Right. I saw it.
With pictures and everything. Yeah.
Okay. So a
couple of them have been saying, we want to come on and tell our side of the story of why we was there. I was like, I didn't say nothing bad. This is what you did. This is what the Jewish organization said the trip was for. And a couple of them have, but they never followed up with me. So
the mayor McKinsey, some people were pissed off in Peekskill and said, "What are you doing there?" And she said, "I'm gonna put out a video and explain everything." And she never did. And the last council meeting, she said, "I'm not putting out a video. You're just gonna twist my words." Whatever. All right. So I also exposed blatant allegations of things going on and I'm careful about my language, at the Antique House homeless shelter in Peekskill. And that's all Democratic cronies, the director, the board members. So that blew up. And then Darren Rigger, who was on the Peekskill City Council, his name came up in the Epstein files. His consulting company solicited money from Epstein for Hakeem Jeffries, who they described in their letter as Brooklyn's Barack or some bullshit. But he says, it's just one email in a batch, yada, yada, which is, nonsense. So this last week, I posted 6 more emails from Peekskill City Councilman Darren Rigger's consulting company to Epstein. So this is big. So all of this is going on. These Democrats, and then my support for Mike Lawler, because they tried to destroy me and my community, was one of the main reasons. Right. You guys know a story that hasn't come out yet about my little escort off the county property by police. I have not talked about that yet.
I know about it. I know about it.
You told us you were gonna come on and talk about it, but
I ain't ready, but I'm close. It's gonna come out because I got a call from Politico. They're running a hatchet job article on me. They're not talking about the police brutality case. Huh?
He said he'll be right back.
Oh, okay. They're not talking about the police brutality case, which has been on all of the major news media. They're not talking about that. I posted a book. The title of the book is Germany's Black Holocaust, and it happened in the late 1800s. I posted a Black History Month. This reporter went digging through my Facebook page to find, it wasn't nothing newsworthy, to find something to string together. And I guess he's going to accuse me of being an anti-Semite because I posted that book, which is a big stretch. And he also questioned me about my criticism of Latimer taking AIPAC money to knock off the only Black congressman. So it feels like, you know, they're going to call me an anti-Semite, which I don't give two shits about. I stand by everything I did and said. It's purely a political hit. I'm surprised that Politico would be a part of something like that.
Well, I just want to say before you go, so I covered the same stories. We went in way more detail about AIPAC and Latimer and Bowman than you did. And we also covered other stories. And it did get me labeled anti-Semitic by people that should know better. So I just want to say that is the playbook. So
yeah. And
I wanted to open it up. I've been monopolizing the question if Larnez and Damon have any questions, and y'all about to lose my undivided attention about 6 minutes when the Nick game come on. So
yeah. Well, I got to jump off at 8 also.
No, man. I just listen, man. I just commend you, for sticking to it, and thank you for the information that you have given us today. I think it would be a nice good article to move around in. You gave us a lot of good information, and I am glad that Michael Sussman's on the case.
Yes.
And I might have to reach out to him for a case in Mount Vernon, but we have to continue to fight, man, because these politicians, they play too many games, and they think they could get over with some. I'm disappointed in case, but when you do not clear out your staff, and when you keep the same people from before and then from before and before, you're not creating a new atmosphere. Only thing you're doing is managing the same people, and the few people with integrity are leaving. Are actually leaving her office. One has already left. And so, we have to educate Black people that, unfortunately we didn't have a proper alternative in the DA's race, but one day somebody will step up that is really gonna not use the district attorney as a political arm of the Democratic Party, but as an independent. I mean, look, with all her flaws and all her mistakes, I give credit to Mimi that she tried in certain things. She did try, and but it just didn't work. She wasn't built for that, right? She wasn't built for that battle, because if I was DA, anybody's talk fly, I'm investigating him. I'm silencing them immediately. You're under investigation. We're going to find something, because with politics, you just got to look. You'll find it. Like you'll find it. But
I think Mimi's biggest problem is she did not believe that the office should be political and that it was as political as it was, and she tried to move in a non-political way.
Yeah, but
it is very political. So, and she found out it was more political than she knew, and I think that was.
Well, me and Kenny Chamberlain met with her at City Limits, and we told her it is a political position. You can think whatever you want to think. It's a political position, but you are the most powerful political person in Westchester as the district attorney.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you go in, you don't want to be political, but if they want to make it political, then you show them the weight that you have as a district attorney. They do it to the small people. Do it to the political people. Show them that you are that HNIC in charge when it comes to politics here. And if somebody needs to go to jail, they just have to go to jail or just be investigated. It is what it is. If you're only doing 4 years, they can't take you out. Right? You was in there, you were voted in by the people.
Real quick, before you go any further, I know Larnez also has to go to work, so I wanted to give her a chance to get last word.
All right, Larnez.
No, all I want to say is thank you for the update. Keep fighting. It's starting to make positive movements. I wish you the best. Anytime you reach out to us, we will show up when we need to. And come on when anything changes, because the community needs to know how they need to support.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Last thing I want to say, and then I'm about to bounce too. Yo, I said this before, and I say this that election time. For all of y'all that keep talking about criminal justice reform and police reform and all of those things that y'all talking about, the one of the greatest things you can do, and it is free, is vote in the DA race, your local DA race.
Right.
Get to know who the candidates are, what they stand for, and vote in the race. That is the biggest thing you can do for the fight for criminal justice and police reform and all those things that we say that we want. But we don't figure out who these candidates are. We don't get involved in all of that. That's the race you need. And it's free. You ain't got to spend no money. You ain't got to go out there and protest. This you can do. This is one of the things you can do that is free. You know what I'm saying? But we don't get involved in it. Right. Then we complain. Then we complain when the person who's in doesn't have our agenda and doesn't, because you didn't get involved and you didn't do your process, and that's a failure on us as the voters. And that's all I wanted to say about that.
Well, Dow, anything, because we about to shut down. Everybody got to go to work with me.
I got to watch the Knicks.
I'm about to go back to sleep.
Much thanks and appreciation for everything you guys are doing. I hope you do another 10 years at least, and I'll be in touch.
I don't know about that, brother. Thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.
Peace. We're about to close. We're about to close it out. I'm out of here, and we're gonna close out little Black History Month. Black Women's History Month. Little song for y'all to go out to. We just having fun as we celebrate our Black women. We also got to celebrate our Black girls, because they will be Black women, and we got to protect them. Peace out. We out of here.
I see the world throw shade at our daughters. So I stand tall, hands raised like fathers at altars. Ain't no silence when they cry. I reply with fire, no apology, just armor forged from empire. From playgrounds to protests, we stay posted, a wall of wisdom. No fear, just focus. See, the crown ain't just mine, it's passed in truck. So I fight for her future, cause the world won't adjust. Don't wait for the world to show them their worth. That's our job. Protect the diamonds birthed in this earth. Too many brothers ghost. I'ma ghost those excuses. No more silence. We the loud truth in acoustics. I see a warrior in her curls and fire in her walk. So I teach her how to lead, how to move, how to talk. No shame, no limits, no edits for acceptance. She royalty already. She don't need your acceptance. I'm a protector, like the scripture said I'd be, bruh. Bring danger her way. I'll put your head out. See ya. Ain't no fear in my stand, just faith in my lane. Trying to touch what's sacred, I'll baptize you in flame. Black girl magic ain't a trend, it's the root. It's mama's prayers, it's truth in a three-piece suit. It's brothers stepping up, not just when it's cute, but when it's hard, when it's deep. That's the real recruit. I don't need to flex tough. Real strength is calm, standing firm like a shield in the eye of the storm. She ain't my burden, she my reason, my charge, and I'll ride for our girls from the stoop to the stars, not just from the streets, from them snakes in the suits, them Diddy-type predators, Epstein recruits. They smile in the light, but they hunt in the dark. So I train her with truth and I guard her with heart. So tell him, this ain't just a rap, it's a vow on wax. From a man who knows love don't flinch, it acts. You touch one of ours, we ain't playing your game. Black men protect black girls, remember the name. Thank you for watching another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show. Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. We appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, commented, shared the stream, and joined the conversation. Your support is the reason independent Black media continues to thrive and speak truth without fear. Every week, we show up to bring clarity, accountability, and real community insight to the stories that matter. And you show up with us. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or X, we want you to know that your voice, your engagement, and your presence make this platform stronger. Thank you for rocking with Damon K. Jones, AJ Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as we break down the issues that many outlets ignore. And thank you for supporting a space where Black thought, Black leadership, and Black truth-telling still matter.